The blizzard cut visibility to near zero. Frank's headlights caught a dark silhouette frozen in the middle of the road.
What the hell? Nobody's supposed to be out here. Not in this.
He slammed the brake. The plow shuddered and stopped, 30 feet from the figure.
Hey, you need help? You're gonna freeze to death out there.
He grabbed his flashlight and stepped into the howling white, the wind biting instantly.
Hello. I saw you standing right here. Where'd you go?
The beam cut through the snowfall, but the road lay empty. No figure, no tracks.
He was standing right there. I saw him clear as day.
Frank stood motionless, snow piling on his shoulders before climbing back into the cab. He drove on, but the cold that settled in his chest had nothing to do with the storm. 3 miles past the spot where the figure vanished, his headlights swept across a compact sedan, snow piled to the door handles and drifting over the roof. No tire tracks, no footprints, just a dead car in a dead night.
That wasn't here an hour ago. How did it get here without a trace? Dispatch, Unit 4. Vehicle at mile 47. No driver, no tracks, over.
Copy, Unit 4. No reports matching that vehicle. Could be a pre-closure holdover. Advise you plow around and continue your route. Over.
Pre-closure. The road closed at midnight. This snow looks 20 minutes old.
Static filled the cab. The dispatcher was gone, leaving him alone with the storm. He carved a path around the sedan, snow spraying from the blade and piling over its hood.
I'll take the plate when I loop back. Someone's gotta be missing this thing.
But as the car shrank in his mirror, the feeling returned, a prickle at his neck, as if something watched him leave. The plow finished its climb and began the long descent back, headlights sweeping the roadside for the buried sedan. When the mile marker came into view, Frank leaned forward in his seat. The sedan was gone.
That's impossible. There's no way out but the road I just cleared.
He stopped the truck and stepped out. The snow where the car had sat was smooth, no ruts, no drag marks.
Even the snow I threw over it is gone. It's like the night reset.
His flashlight scanned the empty shoulder. He stood where a car had been buried an hour before. A shudder that had nothing to do with the cold ran through him. He climbed back into the cab and locked the door. The depot was 2 hours away, but he needed a person, someone to tell him he wasn't losing his mind. He reached for the radio mic, then stopped. This wasn't a dispatch call. He needed to say it face to face. The depot lights eventually cut through the snow, a faint glow promising answers, or at least someone to hear him out. Frank pushed through the depot door, shaking snow from his shoulders. The foreman sat at his desk, nursing a cold mug of coffee.
Hank, I need to talk to you. Something happened out on the pass tonight that I can't explain.
The foreman looked up slowly, his eyes narrowing over the rim of his glasses. He didn't ask what, he just waited, his silence heavier than the snow outside.
I saw a figure standing in the middle of the road at 4 in the morning. Hank, a man. Then he just vanished. I checked. No footprints. Nothing.
You stopped?
Yeah, I stopped. Thought it was a stranded motorist. But then 3 miles later, there was a car buried in the snow. No tire tracks. An hour later, on my return pass, it was gone, like it was never there.
Others have seen it. The figure, the car. You are not the first.
Others? What happened to them?
Those are old stories, Frank. You just plow the road and keep your eyes forward. Don't stop for anything. Understand?
Frank stood up slowly, the foreman's evasions cutting deeper than the cold outside. He knew he wasn't being told everything. 2 nights later, Frank climbed back into the plow cab for another pre-dawn shift. The storm had redoubled, and his knuckles whitened on the wheel before he even reached the pass.
Maybe it was just a fluke, a trick of the snow. Hank said others saw it, but he didn't say it came back.
The headlights cut through the darkness, and there it was, the same silhouette, 100 yards ahead, motionless in the middle of the road.
You are not a motorist. You are not real. But I am not stopping this time.
He kept the plow moving, closing the distance. The figure remained still, a dark pillar against the whirling snow.
Come on, move. Just move.
The figure didn't flinch. At 50 feet, it was undeniably human-shaped but utterly wrong, like a photograph glued to the storm. The plow passed with a roar, and the figure was gone, swallowed by the turbulence of snow in the mirrors.
And now the car. It'll be here too. It has to be.
A mile further, the headlights found the sedan, half buried in a new pull-off. Same make, same impossible lack of tracks. Frank didn't stop. He just keyed the mic.
Dispatch, Unit 4. That vehicle's back at a new spot. Mile 48, still no driver. I am not stopping. Over.
Copy Unit 4. Acknowledged. Stay safe out there.
Frank hung the mic and stared into the storm, a cold realization settling in. This would happen every shift now, and he was only beginning to understand why. Frank pushed into the depot office, snow still clinging to his coat. He didn't bother with a greeting.
Hank, I saw it again. Both of them. This isn't random. Something is out there.
I was afraid of that. Once it starts, it rarely lets go.
Rarely. So you know more. Is there a file? A report I can read?
The foreman rubbed his neck, then pulled a thick binder from a drawer and set it on the desk, his hand resting on the cover.
There's a binder. Decades of reports. But I don't want you reading it now. Go home. We'll talk after your next shift.
After my next shift. That's 2 days. I can't just sit on this, Hank.
You'll do it because I am asking. Trust me. Some things are better faced with a clear head.
Frank stared at the binder-shaped lump under the foreman's hand, then turned away. Pushing further would only shut him down. He stepped into the cold, the foreman's evasions now another weight he carried. Frank barely slept those 2 nights. When the alarm dragged him up at 2 a.m., he pulled on his coat with a dread that had a shape now. The pass was a maelstrom. At mile 43, the headlights caught the figure again, but this time it was walking.
It's coming at me. No more waiting. It wants me to stop. Number, I won't.
He jammed the throttle. The plow surged forward, and the figure rushed to meet it, a shadow with outstretched arms. No face, just black hunger. And then it wasn't there. A burst of snow, a sound like a radio squelch, and empty road.
Jesus, Jesus, I am through. I didn't stop.
The rearview mirror showed only the swirling white, no figure. But the cold inside the cab was a living thing now.
It tested me. It wanted me to get out. If I had stopped.
He drove on, but the rule had been carved into him by fear. On this pass, mercy was a trap, and to stop was to be lost to the snow. Frank pushed the plow onward, his eyes locked on the white. The sedan would be there. It always was. At mile 48, the headlights caught it, half buried in a fresh drift. But through the frost, a dark shape sat in the driver's seat.
It's not empty. Someone's inside, but there are no tracks. No way anyone could have gotten in.
The silhouette didn't move, a featureless mass against the glass, facing the road.
It's the same car, the same one. But now it's watching me back.
His hand found the radio mic, knuckles white. He wasn't calling dispatch this time.
Hank, it's Frank. The sedan's back, and this time it's occupied. I am not stopping. When I get in, we open that binder.
He threw the mic down and stomped the accelerator, the sedan shrinking in the mirrors. The shape inside never stirred.
That binder has answers, and I am not taking another shift until I see them.
The past swallowed him in white, but his mind was fixed on the depot, and the truth waiting there. Frank's boots thudded through the depot door, snow scattering across the linoleum. He didn't bother with pleasantries.
Hank, the binder. I'm done waiting.
The foreman rubbed his eyes, then pulled the heavy binder from the drawer and laid it open on the desk, its pages yellowed and brittle.
This goes back to 1964. Frank, every winter. Same figure, same phantom sedan. I thought it was legend, until you came in with the same report, twice.
Frank turned the pages, each entry a mirror of his own terror. Whiteout, figure on the road, vanished sedan. The handwriting changed, but the horror was constant.
They all saw it, every driver on this route, and you kept it from me.
I didn't want it to be real, but after your reports, there's no denying it anymore. The past has something that doesn't end.
What about the later pages? What happened to the ones who stopped?
That's not for you today. The rule is simple. Don't stop for anything.
Frank's eyes stayed on the closed binder, the foreman's hand pressing it shut like a lid on something too dark to let out.
Open it again, Hank. The pages you don't want me to see. I need to know what happened.
The foreman's hand trembled as he flipped to a page stamped missing in faded red ink.
3 drivers, Frank. They stopped, they got out, and they were never found.
Frank's stomach dropped. The cold in the room was nothing compared to the ice spreading through his chest.
They vanished because they stopped. He's not telling me everything, but I understand enough.
I am closing this now, and I hope you never ask to see it again.
Frank nodded, his decision already made. He would never stop again, no matter what stood in the road.
The rule is clear now. If I stop, I don't come back. I won't make the same mistake.
He walked out of the office, the weight of 3 vanished drivers pressing on his shoulders.
Just don't stop, Frank. Promise me that.
That night, the promise weighed on him like a stone. The pass was blind with snow, the headlights fighting a losing battle.
If I see it again, I don't stop, no matter what.
At mile 43, the headlights illuminated a figure, arms spread wide, blocking both lanes.
This is the test. The one that took the others. I won't be the 4th.
Frank hammered the throttle. The plow surged forward with a guttural roar. The figure rushed to meet it, a blur of motionless darkness against the white. A split second before impact, a silent flash consumed it. Then, nothing. A cold so profound it burned, swept through the cab, stealing his breath.
I am alive. It didn't stop me. The rule. It's real.
He drove on, hollowed but alive. The ice in his veins a permanent reminder that survival on this pass was bought with a piece of something he'd never get back. A half-mile past where the figure vanished, the sedan materialized, buried deeper, windshield frosted, a shadow pressed to the glass. This time the shape was clearer, a head, shoulders, a face turned toward the road.
It's looking right at me, not sitting, watching.
The headlights caught no reflection in its eyes, only a bottomless void where a face should have been. Frank kept his foot steady on the throttle, refusing to slow. As the plow passed, the sedan's occupant didn't stir, but Frank felt the weight of its stare on his neck. The rearview mirror framed the car until the storm erased it, a final glimpse of that motionless silhouette.
It's marking me. The sedan is the marker, the figure is the test. Now I've got eyes on me.
He didn't radio it in. The dispatcher couldn't help, and Hank already knew. The pass had become a trap, but as long as he never stopped, he had a chance. Frank stumbled into the depot, snow crusting his beard and a hollow look in his eyes.
You saw something worse, didn't you? The sedan had a passenger.
It looked at me. No eyes, just a black void, and I felt it mark me.
The foreman pulled out the binder, thumbing to the back where 3 reports lay under a missing stamp. The first report was a newspaper clipping. Plow driver vanishes on pass, no trace found.
These 3 drivers, Frank, they stopped. The sedan is a warning, a marker of the figure's hunting ground.
At the bottom of the last report, smudged ink read, lost to the snow.
Lost to the snow. That's what they'd write about me if I ever stopped.
Frank's hands shook as he closed the binder, the finality of those pages settling in his chest.
I understand the price now. I'll never stop. Not for anything.
Frank stood by the plow, key in hand, the memory of the binder's weight on his chest. Quitting meant losing his home, his pension.
Nothing else will pay the bills. I've got to run this route again.
The storm struck with fury, whiteout swallowing the road. He drove slow, wipers slapping a useless rhythm. Then it appeared, not standing, but sprinting, a dark blur closing in. Frank's heart seized as the figure slammed its fists into the plow's door. The metal shuddered under the blows, a rhythmic boom that filled the cab.
It's never touched the truck before. Don't stop. Don't even slow down.
He kept the throttle steady, the speedometer climbing, the banging intensified, then ceased, a final hollow slam on the passenger side. Then the storm fell silent except for the wind. In the mirror, only swirling white. Frank gasped, sweat freezing on his brow, but he was still moving. Frank squinted through the wipers, searching the roadside for the sedan's familiar shape. The pull-off at mile 48 was barren, an untouched sweep of snow where the car should have been.
It's not here. The sedan always appeared. This is wrong.
A sick twist in his gut replaced any relief. Nothing about this pass gave gifts. He finished the route and rolled into the depot lot, where the foreman waited under the floodlights, his face carved by worry.
Frank, the sedan wasn't there. I can see it in your face.
What does it mean, Hank? You've been holding back.
The ones who resisted, who refused to stop for anything, they started seeing it outside their homes. Their families saw it.
Frank's stomach dropped. The floor of the depot suddenly unsteady.
My house, my wife, it'll show up at my door.
The rule had a price, and now that price was crawling toward his doorstep. Frank lay in bed, the ceiling dark and heavy above him. Sleep was a distant memory.
Some creak outside pulled him from the bed, his feet cold on the floor.
Through the frost, a silhouette stood in the yard, a dark pillar in the storm, facing the house. It didn't move. It simply waited, snow gathering on its shoulders like a frozen shroud.
You are at my home. My family is inside. Why don't you come closer?
But it held its ground, a silent warden, and Frank dared not step outside. Hours dissolved. The storm sighed, and first light bled gray over the mountains. The figure dissolved into the thinning snowfall, leaving only an untouched drift where it had stood. Frank's hand rested on the deadbolt, trembling. He didn't unlock it.
He couldn't run from this. The pass owned him now, and it knew where he lived.
Frank trudged into the depot. The image of that dark silhouette burned into his exhausted eyes.
Hank, it came to my house, stood in the snow all night, watching.
The foreman's coffee mug stopped midair. He set it down with a heavy clink.
That's how it starts, Frank. The ones who fight back, it marks them. Wherever you go, it'll find you.
So I am a prisoner. The only way to survive is to keep driving. No retirement. No moving away.
I've seen good men leave this job because of it. They still look over their shoulders, years later.
Frank stared at the cold coffee, the weight of a future without escape settling over him.
I won't let it take me. I'll never stop, not for anything.
I wish I could tell you it gets easier. It doesn't. All you can do is live with it.
Then I'll learn to live with it. I'll drive that pass until my heart gives out, and I'll never stop.
Winter bled into spring, then back again. Frank walked the same roster, and the pass always greeted him with the same impossible sentinel. One brittle dawn, as the sun cracked the peaks, he saw it, a distant smudge on the straightaway, waiting. Frank's hands moved on their own, gripped the wheel, eased the throttle forward. No hesitation, no quickening pulse.
It's just the shape again. It steps aside now.
The plow bore down on the figure, and at the last possible second, the dark shape slid to the shoulder, a fluid, unnatural motion. Frank didn't look back. The rearview mirror showed only the receding white, no sedan, no second shape. His coffee thermos steamed in the cup holder. He reached for it with a steady hand.
The sedan's not here today. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow it will be, or the next day.
The pass rolled under the plow's blade, the figure now a shrinking speck. Frank didn't glance back. He had become part of the pattern, and as long as the plow never stopped, neither did the road. A fresh-faced driver reported to the depot the following week, his new jacket still stiff, his doubts written plainly on his face.
Before you run the lower pass, you need to know what's waiting on the upper stretch. Open this.
Frank watched from the corner, arms crossed, the weight of years in his stillness.
Never stop, no matter what you see. Never stop.
The young man flipped through the brittle pages, his smirk fading as the dates and red stamps piled up.
3 drivers, same pass, same hours. They stopped, and they vanished. The sedan marks the spot.
The new driver looked up, his skepticism crumbling into something cold.
It's real. I didn't believe it either, until I saw it with my own eyes. You don't stop. Not once.
The young man closed the binder without a word, his hands unsteady. The foreman slid it back into the drawer. Frank didn't offer reassurance. The rule was simple, and now it was someone else's burden. Frank guided the plow onto the pass, the night swallowing him whole. The headlights carved a tunnel through the falling snow. At mile 43, the figure stood waiting, a black cutout in the headlight beam, arms at its sides.
No hesitation. Keep moving. That's the rule.
The shape didn't twitch until the last breath, then slid to the shoulder with an impossible silent grace. The cold seeped through the cab's metal skin, a deep, unnatural chill that stole his breath.
It's still there, even when it's gone. The cold never leaves.
No sedan tonight. It didn't matter. The road demanded its ritual regardless. Frank pressed the throttle, the engine a steady growl against the silence of the storm. The storm folded in behind him, erasing the road, the figure, and any illusion of escape.
This is the price. A cold road that never ends. But I am still here. I didn't stop.
After the shift, Frank sat alone in the depot break room. The binder lay open on the scarred table, his roughened fingers turned to a yellowed page he had missed before. January 1972. The final line was smeared but legible. Driver exited vehicle at mile 43, lost to the snow.
Lost to the snow. 3 words that erased a man.
Wedged between the pages was a handwritten note. If you see the sedan, drive on. Don't stop. Frank closed the binder slowly, the cover pressing down like a lid on all those lost years.
My name's not in there. Not tonight.
He pushed back his chair and stood, the weight of the binder still heavy in his chest. He left the binder on the table and walked out into the cold. The rules seared into his mind, and in the silent break room, the coffee machine dripped alone. The drive home was a corridor of black ice and falling snow. Frank's civilian car hummed a quiet, tired note. At the stop sign before his turnoff, he eased to a halt, the wipers clearing a brief window in the white. His gaze drifted to the rearview mirror out of habit, and his breath caught for a single heartbeat. The figure stood behind the car, a dark cutout in the red glow of the taillights. No movement, no face, just an absence where a man should be. Frank blinked, and the mirror showed nothing but the empty road and swirling snow.
It's never going to stop. Even here, it's waiting.
He pressed the accelerator, the tires finding traction on the frozen road. The headlights pushed back the dark, but the rearview mirror held a permanent emptiness. Frank drove on, the rule now a part of him, and the figure a passenger he would carry forever.